Welcome back. This one says here, justice delayed. Well, lawyers sometimes say, or they always say, that justice delayed is justice denied. But do you believe that? Is it necessarily so? Well, the president of MBA Ikeja branch, Mr. Onyekachi Ubani.
The chairman.
Oh, I'm sorry. The chairman,
Yes.
MBA Ikeja branch, is here with us, as well as public affairs analysts, Mr. Abiodun Showumi. And they will attempt to enlighten us if this is necessarily so. Now, let me start with the Okah case. That seemed to have been dealt with plenty of dispatch.
That's right.
And a lot of lawyers in Nigeria have made their comments about that judgment.
Yes.
I want your comments about that.
Yeah, is it the one in South Africa?
South Africa.
Oh, fine. I've said it. It's a good one for us to learn. It started, I think, in 2010, and in 2013, the matter came to a logical conclusion. Which is very critical. Issue of justice being delayed, which is the topic, is justice denied. Because the longer the trial, the longer the processes, the longer coming to court, you become weary. And so the judicial system is very key if you really even want investors to come into your country, because there are two institutions they look at. They look at the issue of political stability. They look at your judicial system. How easy can dispute be resolved between parties if there is any contention? If your judicial system does not make provision for easy and quicker dispensation of justice, easy resolution of matters, they will find it very difficult to invest in such a country. So in South Africa, we are now probably getting an example that even our terrorist matters can be handled in a quicker manner. Then in Britain, maybe our corruption cases also will be handled by that judicial system in Britain in a quicker manner. So we are now having specialization in all this. South Africa, maybe we have our terrorist cases, we now export it to South Africa. Maybe we have corruption, probably Britain. So it is very imperative that we learn this lesson, that we must enforce a system that makes for quicker dispensation of justice, that restores confidence on the judiciary, because it is the last hope of the common man. The moment the common man loses hope on judiciary, then that particular country is completely finished.
But Mr. Abani, it seems that it is you lawyers who make these cases drag on forever.
No, it may not be true. You see, when you talk about the judiciary, I don't look at judiciary, you look in probably only the judicial officers. You look at the judicial officers who are there. The other stakeholders are even the judicial assistant, those registrars. You look at also the bar member, that the lawyers themselves. You look at the governor that's supposed to provide infrastructure. The IT is a very veritable tool in dispensation of justice all over the world. If the executive does not provide the money, that is underfunding, all these infrastructures are not there, then they will regard you as Nigerian judiciary. They're not going to look only at judicial officers who sit now to dispense justice. They're looking at it in totality, the system. And so the lawyers also, contribute, because people go to court, filing what we call filivorous applications, ask for unnecessary adjournment, and then delay the matter. And our judicial system also has procedural deficiencies. A situation where an accused person comes to court, gets bail on liberal terms, return his passport, and then the trial takes, and they now do not enter into the substantive matter. They keep on, trying the preliminary matters. The man comes up with an application that the offense is not linked to the accused. If he loses there, he goes on appeal. Before you know it, to the Supreme Court. Before he comes back to the court where the matter has started, 7 years has elapsed and all that. So all those processes must be corrected. Our what we call criminal procedural laws must be amended to reflect the reality on ground. If you want to dispense justice quickly, then we must make it in a manner that it shouldn't take too much long time to do that.
Okay, Mr. Showme, a good example of justice delayed or stalled is the subsidy matter, which has lingered on now for over a year. The whole thing started January last year.
That's right.
Yes. This is January a year later. And we don't seem to have got any kind of clear vision of what is going on. Take the case, for instance, between Maduka and Uba. The cases are in court. We haven't heard anything.
Yeah, what you see is that our entire judicial system is failing. You only need to look at clause 40 of the Magna Carta, which is we will not sell, we will not refuse or delay right or justice. Our system, the judicial system we have, is actually negating the Magna Carta. And it's eroding public confidence in the judiciary. If you consider the views of Warren Burger, the Chief Justice of United States Supreme Court, who made it very clear that confidence in the courts is essential to maintain the fabric of other liberties in free societies. He also highlighted 3 basic conditions that could undermine the confidence of the people in the judiciary. One of them is the delayed trial or inefficiency of the courts, that even at the end of the day, a just judgment can lose its value. It can diminish its value because it has taken too long, either through inefficiency or delay. Secondly, he identified the fact that the people themselves could, at the end of the day, in smaller transactions in their daily life, could end up losing confidence, in the judiciary to protect them from fraud. He used the word fraud. The third issue which the Chief Justice Warren Burger raised is the issue that people will now believe that the law can no longer fulfill its primary functions to protect them in their homes, to protect them and their families in their home, workplaces, and on public streets. Now, that leads to the issue of oil subsidy. Nothing has threatened, since the Civil War, the government of this country more than the last fuel subsidy. It all became clear that so many people scanned the system, threw the country into a mess, and people were so hungry. And one would have thought that enlightened self-interest would even encourage the political class to ensure that at least those fingered in that process are brought to books. There are clear, in that pie, yeah, there are clear public issues, public concern. If you consider what Warren Burger said, if you look at all those conditions, you will see that the subsidy issue actually fits in very, very well. One, you have the people's interest in this matter. They want to know those people who have been taking their money, filing in false papers. You have also the ordinary people's confidence in their daily business transaction, which is the case involving Maduka and Uba. And you also have the overall public interest of society, which is to tackle corruption. 48 billion was collected allegedly by Uba from banks. Those are depositors' money. They are ordinary people's money. We are yet to know what is going on that. He has a business dealing, with Maduka, which it took a court in United Kingdom to freeze Capital Oil and Uba's assets in Nigeria. Uba is still walking the streets free. There is also the issue of the other 4 documents which were used to procure goods and services, including loans from the banks. The SFU waded into this matter. What has happened till today? We don't know. What we've seen is Uba himself wrote to the National Assembly, wrote to the Speaker of the House of Reps. What has the Speaker got to do with an ordinary criminal case, to get involved? We also learned at a point that even the presidency tried to wade in December. Uba wrote in second week of November to Aminu Tambuwa, to wade in. Also, presidency trying to resolve this matter of serious concern. Public money is involved, which is the oil subsidy scam. There is no way we can sweep this issue under the carpet, and it should not be treated as a family affair.
Okay, if I may ask you, Mr. Obani, if you look at what is being said by Abiodun Shomi now, and you look at this particular case, a number of issues have now been raised, and other cases are now in court related to this or not particularly dissimilar.
That's right.
Do you think this could be a way of distracting from the main issue in terms of that particular case between Maduka and Uba as a case study?
Yes, you know what people do, because they have probably exploit the weakness of the judicial system. When there is a main case that should be prosecuted, what they do is that they now file an action in court, either asking the police or EFCC to be restrained from investigating or from interfering. Now, the main case is not being looked into, because I sat down to listen to, I took interest in Oba's case, I took interest in Dr. Maduka's case, and I listened to both of them. Dr. Maduka was here, and the first time I heard him, I saw a man that was in pain. I saw a man that rose to help a young man that was coming up. But that particular confidence is being destroyed by, what he was explaining. So I took time to listen to him. And there are issues he asked. You open 10 letters of credit for a business transaction, out of which only 6 were partially supplied. There was no supply being made for 4 letters of credit. And up to this point in time, nothing has been explained what that has happened to the shipment up to this point in time. And even when he reported the matter to FSU asked him, did you have any business transaction with this man? And the man said yes. Now, what has happened to the goods that were supposed to come into the country based upon the letter of credit and the bill of lading? No explanation. And as rightly pointed out, up to this point in time, no explanation is coming from SFU. Have you finished the investigation? Who is culpable? And then what are you supposed to do? It's not to charge them and all that. Then I also took time to listen to Oba. He came also to channels. And thank God I was not in court that day. I took time to listen to him. I wanted him to explain what has happened to the goods. The letters of credit were open, and then there was a bill of lading covering it. He didn't explain that. Rather, what he was saying that it's an ongoing business transaction. And my explanation is, does business transaction remain ad infinitum? Is there no end to business transaction? So he couldn't explain. And the next thing is that calling Okah a pure water business seller. And that really touched my heart. I said, a pure water business, a man that has established credibility over the years. He has what they call negative borrowing from bank, that he can borrow without any collateral because of his name, a name that has been established over the years. So you now call him, you now remember that he's a pure water business. You forget that he sells BMW. You forget that he sells even good cars, better brands in this country. So I think something has to be done concerning that. As I said earlier, the judicial system must resolve dispute because people are looking. The foreign investors are looking into your country. If they have issues like this and your system cannot resolve it, the security agencies cannot resolve, the judicial system cannot resolve it, they find it difficult coming into your country, because what if they fall into the same prey? How will the matter be resolved? So it's key that this matter be resolved. If Oba is guilty or Mr. Okah is guilty, let the matter go to court and let the matter be done in a manner that shows dispensation of justice in a quicker manner.
So the distractions that he has mentioned,
yes,
they are quite capable of denying,
derailing, because by the time you find all those preliminary matters and then begin to go to Court of Appeal and go to Supreme Court, before you know it, 7-10 years has elapsed.
Meanwhile,
and
the substantive
matter is not being even looked into, and so that's a distraction.
So these distractions can lead to justice.
It can
lead
to denial of justice.
Now,
and it's not healthy.
Mr. Shome, now these kind of delays, are they not capable of encouraging the criminal-minded to do the crime in the belief that they can lock up the case in court for several years?
That would have to be a way of wrapping up very quickly.
Yeah.
Yes.
When you look at, we have so many cases unresolved. Fayoshi's case has been going on for almost 9 years now, over the poultry scam. So many governors are involved. Benga Daniel's case is still on, not yet resolved. So Uba himself would believe that, look, all I need to do is to delay the whole system. Judges need to do the right thing. We need to stop this political interference, because Uba sent a petition to National Assembly to wade in. This cannot be resolved. There is the issue of fuel subsidy. And so also other political actors need to steer clear of this case. In fact, the presidency or the government must ensure that this case is resolved as fast as possible, because it has its own international dimension. Yes.
You are agreeing that people
Precisely.
can actually do the
It's
crime
already
in
doing
the
that.
belief
People are
that they
believing.
can lock up
They can
cases.
exploit the system.
Precisely.
They're exploiting the
Through
system.
delays.
Yes.
You lawyers have
Yes.
a lot of work.
No, we have a lot to
True
do. I agree
delays.
with you, truly. In fact, the country has a lot, because when I said it earlier, it's the Nigerian judiciary that is on trial. It doesn't mean only the judicial officers. It includes the government in power. When they say Nigerian judiciary, we cannot trust. It means the entire totality of the country. All the stakeholders, the bar members, the judicial officers, the executive also that are supposed to do what they're supposed to, and they're not doing it. So it is the entire judiciary, not one single individual.
The police have
The police also that investigate
so
and all that. So it's all inclusive.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Obviously, justice delayed can be and often results in justice being denied.
That's right.
I'd like to thank you, gentlemen, for coming. The chairman of the MBA Ikeja branch, Mr. Onyekachi Ubani.
He does not want to be called His Excellency. So he's not president.
Public Affairs Analyst. Thank you very much for coming. Sunrise will return with the home stretch in just a moment, and like we said earlier, he is a he who is coming on.
Yes.